Nick, good to see you. Today we are talking through the hidden and not so hidden fees, penalties, and taxes in retirement. It's not easy to determine what you'll need to live on in retirement, and that calculation is made even more difficult because there can be a few surprise expenses and some penalties that can last a lifetime. So we're going to talk through those hidden costs starting in order of the severity, and that starts with IRMAA. What do we need to know?
Right. So IRMAA is income related monthly adjustment amounts on your Medicare premium, Part B, that you have. So, depending on what your income is, your modified adjusted gross income from 2 years prior. So, here in 2023, we're looking at 2021 income. And if it hits certain thresholds inside of there, it takes that Medicare premium that we all know the $164.90 Part B premium, but it starts to increase that, and it can also
Mhm.
increase your Part D premium as well from there. The other thing that we have to be aware of with this IRMAA is for individual returns and joint returns. We can see on the screen here that it has several different bands of where your income can be at, and it's incremental up there. A lot of people, will also look to do a married filing separate tax return because it gets them a little bit more money back, but depending on where one of those spouses' income, may be at, if it jumps up over $97,000 here in 2023 for your 2021 income, at that point in time, you could see a massive increase in your Medicare Part B and Part D premiums as well. So you want to be very mindful of this, when you go to try to save on some tax dollars, because it could cause some other penalties in other areas.
And that's a monthly number we were looking at,
That is
right?
a monthly number,
Unbelievable.
absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So now let's talk through the Medicare Part B and D penalty. This penalty can be for life. So how do we avoid it?
Right. So you want to be careful of when you're signing up for Medicare, okay? Because if you don't sign up during the general enrollment period when you turn age 65, maybe you delayed it because you're still working or a spouse is still working. You want to make sure that you sign up during one of those special enrollment periods. If you don't sign up during that special enrollment period, and let's say you wait till age 68 or 70, and you decide, hey, you know what, now is a good time. I want to go ahead and sign up for healthcare insurance, and you haven't had it, you have a gap in coverage or something, previously, there's going to be a penalty that's going to be imposed on your Medicare at that point in time. And that's not a penalty that goes away every year like the IRMAA penalty, can change based on where your income is at 2 years prior. That penalty is going to stay on with you for a lifetime.
Ouch. Okay. Next, let's talk through inflation, which of course we have talked about many times. Basically, inflation is difficult to calculate into your retirement expenses. A lot of people forget it. In fact, 42% of people have never even calculated what they'll need to live on in retirement. And when we look at numbers like this, Nick, you have to take it into account.
Absolutely. I mean, look at how that is, completely all over the board of
Hmm.
what inflation is. The Fed right now is trying to get that inflation number back down to about 2%, which, as we can see over the last 20 to 30 years, has been right around where the average is. Currently, we're sitting up there in that 5% range, and that's a little bit higher than normal. But for a lot of DIY people, I see this all the time. People
Hmm.
bring in Excel sheets of, hey, here's what my expenses are going to be. Here's what I've projected out over the next 30 years. But the number one thing that they forget is that those expenses are going to increase based on this inflation. They've left the same number in there for the next 20 to 30 years. So you have to project some sort of inflation is going to be, inside of there.
Hmm.
That same dollar that you lay on the table is not going to be, it might look the same in a year from now or 10 years from now, but it's not going to be worth the same. You're not going to be able to buy as much. So we definitely have to calculate some inflation in there during
Absolutely.
your retirement years.
Hmm. And now let's talk through taxes. They can be a huge expense in retirement without proper planning, especially if you have no tax-free money to tap.
Right. So especially in a down market as well, in a down market, if all of a sudden that we're taking out large chunks of money, markets drop 30, 40%, and we're taking out a big lump sum or big monthly, amount from there. Not only, are we paying taxes on that money, but we're taking out more shares, during that down market as well. So when markets do come back, we don't have that compound interest anymore, like what we had, or dollar cost averaging that we had during, our working years.
Hmm.
Taking out bigger shares, that pool of money for our retirement's not going to be coming back nearly as fast. So that's a distribution that's going to last a lifetime.
Hmm.
Not money going back into that
The good
again.
news is at least we can plan for these, hidden fees. It all comes down to
Correct.
proactive planning again, though. So if somebody has questions about anything that we've talked about today, Nick, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Yeah, absolutely. You can reach out to us on our website, iconberryretirement.com. You can find our phone number, give us a call, send us an email from there. Or you can just reach out to us directly on the phone, 937-498-1128. We'd be happy to sit down with you and go over any of these, hidden taxes, hidden fees, and penalties that may be out there, and how that's, pertains to your specific situation.
So important. All right, Nick, thank you.
Thanks, Erin.